With us today, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gavin Scrappy Johnson. Yeah, nice name, call a nice name. A London-based recording artist, music producer, and author. Alongside him is Marion Byron, Assistant Director of Education, Technical, Vocational Education and Training. So you know this is our musical interview. Gavin's musical journey began in Montserrat, where he captured the Junior Calypso crown back-to-back before relocating to Antigua. His passion for music took him across the globe, from touring Europe at renowned music festivals and carnivals to founding the Caribbean Music Festival. All right? He made waves at the Miami Carnival's 40th celebration, along with some of the greatest names in the industry. The camera from you, smile. Gavin is back in Antigua, working closely with local students and creatives to share his knowledge and inspire the next generation of musical talent. And once Mrs. Byron here, you know, a serious business. Good morning, lady. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Welcome back.
Yes, thank you very much.
Now, this musical journey that you had, Scrappy, let me tell you, could you tell us more about the early days growing up in Montserrat and in Antigua?
Yeah, definitely. Well, in Montserrat, I entered the Junior Calypso Monarch, in which I won the crown back-to-back. And a little before that, my family in Montserrat, we're known for music. The Johnson family from East, we're known for music. My uncle is a Calypso Monarch. My other uncle is a road march king. My aunt is a female soca monarch. So, it's been, ongoing sort of thing. So that's how I got started in music in Montserrat. After Montserrat, my mother migrated to Antigua, in which when I came to Antigua, she was more heavily on education. So the music had to go on pause, because she like, you have to learn your book. You're not gonna done speak me. You know how that go. You know what I mean? So, I attended the best secondary school, Otis Comprehensive.
Sorry,
you okay?
Me up. Yeah,
you sure? Okay, good. I attended the Otis Comprehensive Secondary School, in which, during my time in Otis Comprehensive, during my time in Antigua, I've sort of understood what face competition is, because, in Antigua, it was a totally different ball game. So even if I wanted to step into music in Antigua, it was a thing where I was more amazed by the level of talent. And you're talking from Burning Flames to Obstinate to, artists like Claudette Peters, artists like, the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. So seeing how Antigua's music industry was, it was a thing that I've always admired, and I've always thought, whenever I'm in a position to give something back to Antigua, then I would definitely bring something back to the shores of Antigua, and this is the position that I'm in right now.
Now, after moving to the UK, you performed at major carnivals and all over Europe. You had some of the biggest cultural... What are some of the biggest cultural differences you realized in the UK and throughout Antigua, Montserrat, from the region, let's say, per se?
Well, one of the stories that I've always told people, and, I'm very reluctant on speaking about people when they're not here. But when Arrow was alive, may his soul rest in peace, when Arrow was alive, I was performing in one of the European countries, and I couldn't really get through to the crowd. And I rang him, and I said, yo, this performance is not hitting. And he was like, because your song has too many words. You're in Europe. Simplify the song. Make it simple. Make it easier. Make it more palatable. And these are minimal techniques that, you sort of probably wouldn't pick up on. And, having access to that sort of information, applying that skill, it sort of made you now become more and more relatable to, markets that probably English aren't their first language, or make you marketable to music, to markets that, soca or calypso isn't even their first style of music. So incorporating that and understanding how to make adjustments in your performances to reach to a wider market, then that's one of the things that I noticed.
You made a valid point right there. Too much words.
Yeah, trust me.
Too much words, especially.
Too much words.
And I'm glad that you're here, because now you're scheduled for a few exciting engagements here in Antigua Barbuda, including, presentation to the upper secondary students, for them to understand what is happening here with their musical careers in Antigua and Barbuda. What can attendees expect and to learn from this session?
Well, the whole concept is to give access of information to the next generation of creatives that we have here in Antigua. I've always felt like when it comes to competition, Antigua has never shied away from that. And when you think about all of the major stages, Antigua has always had something to do in these major stages. You can talk about cricket from the days of Sir Viv Richards. You can talk about music festivals. You can talk about the legendary Burning Flames. You can talk about when the Benner Boys made their run in the Olympics. The list just goes on and on and on and on. So when Antigua has been given that opportunity to shine on major platforms, Antigua always has. If we're going to move forward into the future, sorry, I keep saying we. I know I'm not from Antigua, but
It's still we. Come on. Antigua Montserrat, Barbuda.
Yeah.
You can't get to Montserrat, you have to pass through Antigua.
There we go. There we go.
Right.
But yeah, but if we're gonna get the next level of creatives to be monumental, if we're gonna get them to be the global impactful artists that we know that they can be, we need to give them the tools and we need to facilitate them with the tools. And at this moment, the power is in knowledge. It is explaining stuff to them about how do you utilize opportunities, what is an opportunity. Sometimes somebody might say to you, look, I can get you to perform in front of 20,000 people, but I can only cover your airline ticket. You might say, no, me not work for free. You know what I mean? Is that an opportunity? Ooh. But on the flip side, if it's opening to a new market, you might say, okay, cool, I'll take the deal, but based on the premise that I could get an interview with, let's say, BBC Radio in London, maybe I could get a next interview with 2 or 3 of the top podcasts. Now you're looking at the value of what that trip is. Is this an opportunity that you think is worth it in terms of you branding your presence in markets that you probably wouldn't even get access to, even if your song was a hit song, because it probably wasn't resonate with the European market. So these are the minimal things that we need to look at the new creatives of Antigua and Barbuda and get them to understand. If you're getting an opportunity, how do you maximize this opportunity? And that's what the whole program is going to be about.
Well, Marianne, with the word maximize it, how you plan to maximizing this relationship at this particular time with Gavin and the youths coming up, or even anybody who isn't just interested in music in general?
Right. Well, the thing is, Gavin and I have been speaking before COVID. He's been reaching out to me to engage with students and to show, to just share his skills. We started talking about music production at first because he's so talented. He has just inspired me, really, in our conversations. Would you believe today is the first we've ever met in person? But I feel as if I've known him for years. Anyway, the thing is that he is bringing a particular focus. We do a lot of teaching within our classroom, music and that sort of thing. But this aspect of the music business triggered my interest. So when he called me in January and said, I'm going to be in Antigua for vacation, I said, can we have some of your time? Well, of course, he's been wanting to come. So we're going to inspire our young people about career opportunities, what it is to be in the music industry. As you know, the creative industries is a large sector of what we do and important for our society. So I think it's important for us to let our students who are dabbling in various aspects of music to know what it takes to become a successful musician, what it takes to be a successful creative, not only in Antigua, but I like what he says to me. How do you export your talents for the international market? And I think that we can now share with our students. So we have about 3 activities that we have earmarked for him to engage in. So the first one will be a workshop, a seminar with upper secondary school students tomorrow morning. This is a closed one. And then we have one in the evening at 6 o'clock. This one we want the general public to come to. Okay. We want to enlighten those who are already in the industry, our DJs, our producers, our coaches, our teachers, you name it. Come out. Because we are going to have a conversation. He's just the catalyst of the conversation. We have needed this conversation for a long time. We needed to be able to say to our, how do we improve what we do? We think we have a good stuff, but how can we be better?
True. Right?
And so, as I say, it's not that he has all the knowledge, but he has some experience being in the international market, and we want to be able to have that conversation. We also want to share. Well, one of the things we're going to be doing is also sharing with our students and our creatives what's the opportunity to get a skills certificate to operate within the region. Because we have persons who are coming into Antigua to work, but how do we export our talent? how do you go and have a successful career in the region and internationally. So we're going to have a little plug also about the CSME free movement regime. And we have persons from the Ministry of Labor who will be also sharing a little segment with that. So it's going to be a great opportunity to showcase talent, because we're going to put in a little showcase, you know, so that you can see what kind of talent. And then also we have a third activity which will be at the Harrison Center, Abyss, where we have a group of music production students, and because this is an area that he's into, we also want him to share with them. That will be on Thursday morning.
All the 3 meetings will be at Harrison Center?
Okay, sorry. So the first 2, that's tomorrow, will be at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, Presidential Suite.
Okay.
So the one in the morning is closed for upper secondary, but the evening, we want everybody to come. It starts at 6 o'clock.
Same
6
venue.
to 8, same venue, but we want persons to come early. We know sometimes people like to come when we say 6 o'clock when they're reaching at 7. No, come at 5:45. We want to start on time because we want to maximize the time. We have a full program. There will be a section where he'll make a presentation, but there will also be a section for asking questions and interaction and so on.
Now, Scrappy, before we go, because we can't all the time, I want you to explain what's in front of us.
Right. So this is, it's an Oliver Oriole passport. It's an adventure passport. So as a songwriter, during COVID, you know, everything was on standstill. And because everything was on standstill, we had to find different ways to be creative. Now, from songwriting, what I did, I decided in order for us to sort of capture the younger, I guess the younger kids, we needed to give them something as well that was sort of a cultural icon. Like you have Mickey Mouse for, you know, globally. So I looked at it and I thought, what if we were to create something that kids could sort of engage with? So I took the national bird of Montserrat, called the Oriole bird, and I turned it into a character. Okay. So what Oliver Oriole does now, he goes on different adventures to different islands of the Caribbean. And in each adventure that Oliver goes in, we introduce a new character from that island on each adventure. So on this one, Oliver Oriole goes to St. Lucia, where he met the national bird of St. Lucia. I mean, this is the first one, which Oliver Oriole goes to Montserrat, but he talks about the history of Montserrat, the music of Montserrat, the culture of Montserrat. And, you know, Oliver Oriole is going to be coming to Antigua Barbuda, where he's going to meet the national animal, which is the fallen deer. Then he's going to be going to Cayman Islands, where that's the blue iguana. So the whole concept of it is, you know, I'm sort of using myself as an example, as a creative, as to how you can open different doors instead of just staying within writing soca. You can now, you know, sort of exploit your talent and, you know, you can go into writing music for TV. You can go into sync licensing. Let's say we have a keyboard player on Ireland that everybody knows is one of the best. How do we take that keyboard player and get them into maybe doing music for films? How do we really, you know, open the minds and sort of get them out of just the Caribbean scope of just reggae, soca, dancehall, calypso, and sort of take them and say, look, let us be global. Because if we're going to be talking about the top 10 or the top 5 or the best of anything in terms of entertainment, in terms of anything, I think Antigua needs to be in that conversation. And in order for us to get Antigua in that conversation, we need to equip the next generation of creatives with the tools so that when they get these opportunities, they can really capitalize on an opportunity and say, look, I met the director of whatever program and they're looking for somebody that wants to compose music into theaters, and I know how to do that because I've sort of, you know, looked into how to open that door. And that's what, you know, this is all about.
Listen, I just hope everybody take advantage of what's happening here and what lesson we can get from this. It's been a pleasure speaking with Miss Scrappy and also Marianne, and we can't wait to see the great work he continues and they continue to do right here in Antigua and Barbuda and beyond. Generation Next, we're ready for you. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. Meet the Harpers, a family that needs fast and reliable internet. They choose the good life with iNet Fiber. Let's find out why.
With iNet